Breakfast with Bob.
Welcome, everybody. Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by the PTO, the Pro Triathletes Organization, by Amp Human, VeloFix, Normatec, Form Goggles, UCAN, and our Challenged Athletes Foundation. We just sent out 3,921 grants, totaling $5.9 million to keep challenged athletes in the game of life through sport. Our next guest, a guy who knows how to keep athletes in the game of life through sport, Mr. Bernard Lyles from TriMasters. How you doing, Bernard?
I'm doing pretty good, Bob. Long time no see.
I know, we go back a lot of years. Now, so when you came to Kona for the first time, was it what, like 82, 83, that era?
No, 98.
98 was the first time you came?
Yeah.
Wow.
First time in Kona. I came for the big world championship.
So that was, what, the 20th anniversary?
20th anniversary, right.
So when did you find the sport of triathlon? And did you grow up in Chicago?
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago, on the west side of Chicago mostly. And we did move to the south side, moved to Inglewood, which is another popular spot in Chicago. So yeah, I started triathlons in 1983.
You started in the sport in 83.
Started in the sport in 83. That was my first event. What happened was a friend of mine did an indoor triathlon, and he told me all about it. He said, Bernard, you should try that out. It's all, I don't know what a triathlon is. So he told me about it. He had so much fun. He said, Bernard, you do it. I know you have a lot of fun at it. So that summer, I went downtown to see the Bud Light triathlon series they had.
Yep.
I saw the one in Chicago. Oh, there was so much excitement. And I knew I was hooked. I'm gonna try this triathlon out. So the following year is when I signed up for Leon. Leon was my first triathlon out in Hobart, Indiana.
So talk a little bit about, did you have a swim background growing up?
No, but we got in the water, got in the lake.
And when you're talking 83, and you're talking about racing at Leon's, did you feel a little alone that, hey, there aren't that many people of color out here?
I thought I was the only one, but it's another young fella. He showed up on Sunday. So it was two of us. We hooked up just like we knew each other all the time, Bob.
But it's funny because when I look at the sport, I look at it as an equal opportunity abuser, right? I think it's something that anybody can do. It doesn't really matter. And especially if it's short enough and it's not as that expensive, all of a sudden we see more diversity at the races. What did you do to try to get more people of color into the sport?
Well, after my first triathlon, I was just so hooked on it, Bob, because I was actually a marathon runner, and I was on injuries, so that's how I got into more biking, more swimming. But after I did my first triathlon, it was so much fun, and it was such a change where, I'm feeling this, and I need to, I want to share with some other people, because like one guy shared it with me, I took on to it, but it's hard for other, people of color. They don't swim for real, or have less access to pools to learn how to swim.
That to me is the thing. It's not like people don't swim. They said you don't have access to the pools.
Have access. So when you mention triathlon and then mention swimming, it's hard because everybody, don't have those skills to swim. So
you were one of those guys who decided, I'm going to change this, and you started TriMasters. Was that in what, 92-ish?
Yeah, I started TriMasters in 92. Actually, I met Alvin Hartley from New York.
Mm-hmm.
He started the original TriMasters in New York. And they came to Chicago in 90. Yeah, they came to Chicago in 90 by invitation from the race director. And they were sponsored by Pan Am, and they had some other sponsors. And some of the pro athletes, Molina and them, was kind of sponsored up under that TriMasters umbrella too. And so when they came to Chicago, I see this big group of Hispanic and Black athletes. They're going out in the first wave and all this. And I'm like, nobody asked me about this, Bob. Nobody told me they were coming.
Where's my invitation to be in the front row?
What's going on here?
Exactly. I love that.
So I met Alvin. Alvin wasn't racing that day. And I wasn't racing that day either. So I met Alvin and we talked on the sidelines about, he said, oh yeah, we're from New York and this and that. And they had the sponsors. He told us how they got there, and Jan Kaye invited
Race
them.
director, yep.
Right. And he said, you know, we talked about a lot of different things. He said, well, next year you'll be with us. And, you know, so I started a Chicago chapter. I did get able to put together 10 friends that, you know, I'm gonna help train them or whatever. And I just need y'all to help me form this one group. So we have a Chicago chapter. And so that came with training, you know, some of them how to swim, but mostly they were runners too. So we started our group in 91 for the adults.
And really, you're known for the kids programs, right?
Yes.
For getting kids into the sport of triathlon. I'm sure when you first start talking to kids about, hey, you should do triathlon, one, they have no idea what the heck it is. Mm-hmm. And two, when you say it's 3 sports and you need to be able to swim, you need to own a bicycle and ride a bicycle. And the running, probably everybody's going, hey, I can run. But 2 out of the 3 could be pretty challenging.
Yeah, it was. I mean, but I was fortunate to have you know, I was in a running club, Bob. This is what happened. Yeah. I was in a running club. And, you know, when you run with your fellow athletes and you talk about different things, I was running with the president of the Chicago State University. And, you know, I might have brought it up several times in running that I'm looking to create a youth program to train them in, you know, sports.
Yes.
It wasn't just that had to be triathlon, so in sports. And one day I got a call from our office. The president wants to see, can you come and visit with the president? She wants to talk to you about something important. Oh yeah, so I went over to Chicago State and she told me about this grant that she had got from Chicago Community Trust for $10,000. And she said, can you really start a youth program? That's not the time to say no, Bob.
When somebody says I got a check for 10 grand, you're going, yes, I can.
Yes, I can. And so she told me, okay, well, she told me about the grant. And then she told me, well, we'll have another meeting in about a week. And we'll go over the details. And that was the end of that meeting. So the next week, I got called into her office again, where she had the athletic director, one person from legal, and this is another gentleman, I think it was one of the vice presidents. Anyway, we talked about how we can do this and on the university campus. And legal gave us the forms where we had to, you know, take care of it. The athletic director put his part in there, and it was on. So I had the use of the 10 grand. I bought 10 swim bicycles. I hired 2 lifeguards, and then I scraped up kids because it was already July. And kids already in summer program, but it was some kids that, some grandmother, I promised her, when I get this program, Bob, I visualized this whole thing and it happened. When I get this program, I'm gonna help you out, because grandma taking care of these kids, because you know, her daughter and son, they are, you know, strung out with drugs and stuff like that. That's what it was. And so she's taking care of the grandkids. So I took those 5 grandkids, some kids that were on campus, and I scraped up 30 kids, and we got started. So I hired 2 lifeguards. I had 30 kids, 1 coach, and a couple of guys from TriMaster that I had formed to help me out. And we just went off the cuff with it because we had the university campus. We had everything there, running track. It's got 3 swimming pools. I could use all the lecture halls and stuff like that. It was great. So we just went off the cuff.
How long were you there on that campus?
What you mean, during the week or?
No, so you're still on that campus.
Oh no, I was there for 13 years with the program. 13 years, and you know, another administration came in after that, and they weren't into kids and what the previous president had put together. They just destroyed everything, that community things and everything that the other president had her hands on. This lady, she hated it for no reason, just got rid of everything.
I bet you when they looked at it from a insurance perspective, and they're like, wait a second, be an issue. I could see they would do that. Was it somebody who believed, right? If you're going to make something like that happen, there are reasons to say no, but it takes somebody who really believes to be involved.
Right. It takes somebody to believe to be involved, because that administration, when they came, they just, turned Chicago State around all the way different. And, when you have people that come from out of state to another state and try to,
Yeah.
We don't do things that way here.
No.
But
so how many kids do you think have gone through your program since the early 90s?
over the years now, we're up around about 2,800 or so.
That's so cool.
Because some years, Bob, I had limited to 100 kids because we grew from 30. The next year was 60, and then it got to be 100. And one year, it was another program. They had academics in the morning, and they supposed to have sports in the afternoon. But they didn't have a coach or they didn't have a program. So the administrator, she came to me. She said, Bernard, could you train her 60 kids? And she would break me off some of her grant, which I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we trained 160 kids that year. And we got 108 of them to the kids triathlon.
So we look at the numbers of African Americans in the sport of triathlon, and it's low, right?
Yeah.
How do we change that?
I'm doing what I can to,
Yeah.
inspire people, get them trained. Again, sports and exercise is very important. So what my success was, you start kids with something young, they remember that. Even if they stray off from it somewhere, they'll come back to it because they remember the benefits, the hard training, the discipline, the weight loss, all the good things that come along with endurance sport. So a lot of people now, we're fighting this obesity thing. So that's one way. Be involved in sports. And a lot of people do want to learn how to swim. Again, we don't have access. So when I have access to a pool and I'm teaching people how to swim, I talk them into the triathlon. It's easy after that because the water is the biggest thing biggest hurdle for them.
I've always felt that we went out and shot a video at the Tinsel Triathlon out here east of San Diego. And it's a 5K run followed by a 10-mile bike, followed by a 150-yard swim in a pool at the end. And they get, 900, 1,000 people, 50% men, 50% women, people of color, and prices like $80. I mean, it's one of those things. It's to me, there's a solution. Mm-hmm. The solution is starting with swimming, right? We need to drown-proof kids, teach inner city kids how to swim. Then the rest of it comes. We can get bikes donated, right? You don't need a $10,000 bike to do a short triathlon.
Nope.
Something with cobwebs on it is fine.
Right. Right now, we have kids bring their own bike. But,
yeah,
because it fits you already. We don't have to store it because at places we have now, we don't have storage for all those bikes. So the kid bring his own bike. It fits you, you know how to ride it, and we're going to go from there. But
what I always look at we consider it a sport, but the power of this sport in terms of teaching you dedication, hard work, it helps you in every aspect of your life. It makes you a better employer, employee. Right. You've seen that firsthand. You've had kids who've started with you when they're like 10, 11 years old. I think you had one kid who became a doctor and actually was in Kona working in the med tent, right? Yeah, but they started with you, right? Who was that?
That's Ryan Hickman. She came to me when she was 9 years old. She was already on the swim team, the Chicago South swim team, but Ryan was into a lot of different, she's active. Right. My mother brought her to TriMasters and she excelled right away. We got her running. And once she got her running skills together, I would put her on some of those boys that think they're tough. Ryan. And Ryan always had, she told us up front, she was going to be a doctor. Everything she said she's going to do, she does it. And she got good at that triathlon. And Lauren Jensen, another pro athlete here, Lauren Jensen kind of took Ryan under her wing and gave Ryan a real nice bike and, coached her a little bit. And Ryan, she dominated that kids triathlon. And then she did the sprint in Chicago. She qualified to go to the championships in, California. Anyway, we had, now we got to take Ryan to California to defend that championship.
That is so cool.
Yeah, but she kept on with the sport, and she became a coach with us, and went to college. Now she's a doctor. She did everything she said she was gonna do.
So
And
if we had a group of people like yourself, um, Max Fennell, CAF is already doing swim clinics around the country where we do those when the world's not crazy like it is now.
right.
But if we took those swim clinics that we're doing 10 or 12 of those and basically invited inner city kids to be involved with these programs, do you think that would make a difference in terms of getting people into the sport because now they're drown proof?
Yeah, definitely. Again, the swimming is the big barrier right there for the kids. And if they're going to be around what we're doing, they're going to run. They're going to run.
Exactly, yeah.
And everybody claim they can ride a bike. We do teach some of them how to ride because they even come to us don't know how to ride a bike. But that's the whole beauty of it. When you teach a kid how to bike, he'll never forget that. Never forget who taught him how to bike.
I'm betting that you get a lot of support from local race directors. If you call a race director up and say, "Hey, I want to bring some of my kids," I'm guessing that they're welcoming you guys with open arms.
It's a few of them, yeah, it's a few. But in the summer here, we only got a short period.
Right.
So whatever races are in that period, yeah, like used to have like Chicago Triathlon. Then we had one out in Naperville we used to go to.
Yep.
And then it was a few other scattered 5Ks that we did. So we usually get 2 triathlons at least and some 5K runs that was established in the area so we can get the kids to them without a big hassle and, something local. But I got lucky for 5 years. I took some of my kids to Jamaica in the winter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I took my top 15 kids to Jamaica, I think it was like 5 years straight.
That's pretty motivating.
Yeah.
That'll get people to work out. They're not going to miss a training session when they can go to Jamaica.
They battle for those positions. And
now, how many of those kids, they go to Jamaica, how many of those kids had never traveled internationally before?
Most of them, yeah. Most of them had never been anywhere. And then we went to Jamaica. It was like, wow, they in the middle of wintertime.
What are some of your favorite moments from TriMasters? Some of the being in an event, and I'm sure you've had some kids where you saw them swim for the first time. You're like, I don't know about this. This is going to be a tough one, and then you see them come across that finish line. I'm sure you've had a couple moments like that.
Oh yeah, in fact, that's the best part is seeing kids progress. I'll tell you about one kid, Theodore. Theodore came to us. Theodore was his brother was in the camp. His brother was 7. Theodore was 4, almost 5, and they need to do something with Theodore. But I'm like, our kids got to be at least 6. Theodore he made 5, but his father, he's a good friend of mine, and I said, okay, well if he don't cry, then he can stay. Theodore came and took onto it real quick. All the little girls, Theodore, they in love with him. So Theodore, he got in the whole triathlon thing. We taught him how to swim. The first day we had him with those the floaties on his arm.
Yeah.
We got in trouble with the people that run the pool. They say, you're not supposed to be using that. But they almost wanted to throw us out, but they couldn't because Theodore had these things on his arm. We thought maybe we had put some explosives on him the way they were coming at us. So Theodore, we got to get to, okay, we are not going to use those anymore. So we got Theodore swimming, and over the summertime, he picked up on it good. We have a swim club, Chicago South Swim Club. We invited Theodore to be part of this swim club, keep his stuff going. So by the time he was 5, he was swimming good. Theodore, we found out later, I didn't find out till we were in Daytona last year. We got invited to go to Daytona and take 3 of our best kids. And so Theodore was one of the kids. I found out he had this Osberger's or something.
Oh, Asperger's. Yeah, Asperger's. Yeah.
I didn't know he had that.
Yeah.
I know he's a little slow or whatever, but all you got to do is focus him on, Theodore, I need you to do this, and he'll do that.
Right.
He'll get off track sometime. But, I figured that was kid stuff. But bottom line is Theodore became a proficient swimmer. rides good on the bike, and he can run. He's tall now. He got long legs and tall. He got his skills together. He runs. But now I can kind of tell, it was something. He had that Asperger's thing.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I never knew. He's just another kid.
Just another kid. Absolutely.
You better get over there.
Now, have you heard from parents? The kids get into your program, and next thing you know, they're doing way better in school than they did before.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah. Some parents say, I don't know what you're doing, but yeah, he's doing a whole lot better at home. He's not doing this and that. And their grades, yeah. I've been invited to graduations all over the place. Every year I got to go to graduation, except for this year.
That's got to be rewarding when you're able to go to a graduation, because a lot of the kids you're working with, maybe they thought, the parents might have thought they might not ever graduate, and now all of a sudden they're doing well in school and they're feeling good about themselves.
Right, and then the community that we're in, it's a lot of obstacles, gangs, drugs, a lot of things that the kids can get into. But I feel if we get them with us, and that's what they learn as kids, they stay with us and they stay with sports. Same thing as when the drug guys, they get them, that's all they know. And they think that's the right thing to do. So again, get them when they're young, train them, and they'll stick with it. A lot of them stick with it. Some of them, Bob, I haven't seen for years. They'll come back to me, Coach Bernard. I can't even remember his name.
But you changed his life.
Right.
You changed his life for the better because you introduced him to this crazy sport that we both love so much.
Exactly. Yep. So again, I'm very proud of a lot of them. I have about 100 stories I can tell you about how kids went to great schools, did great, and they're great out here in society right now.
So give me another one. Give me another kid, because I know you. I want to hear one more of your kids.
Okay. My other guy, Sean Maloney. Sean, he had a sister, Ariana, in the program, and his youngest brother, Cameron, finally came into the program. But Sean, he always wanted, once he did that first kids triathlon, he wanted to do the big one. He wanted to do the big one on Sunday. And he's just 9 years old then, Sean, you can't do it. You have to be 16. And he was good. He dominated that kids thing. So the next year, we talked to Jan Kaye.
Yeah.
Jan said if his parents signed for it, Jan would give me whatever I want after we argue a little bit. I said, yeah, because I got this kid, he wanted to do it, and he can do it. So he put him in the sprint. He's the first 10-year-old kid that did the sprint triathlon. I was scared for him when he got in that water.
Oh yeah, Lake Michigan, man. Yeah. That's a big body of water with a little kid, and people think, oh, it's a lake. But we both know when that wind picks up and the waves start breaking over the wall, that's like being in the ocean somewhere.
Right. So he's my first 10-year-old kid that I got in this sprint and got him through it. It took him almost 4 hours, but we got
Doesn't matter. It's still light out. He didn't need a light stick.
He didn't need a light stick. And he said he could do it, and he did it. And after that, Sean, I trained him. He became one of our coaches too. So we build our own coaches within the program too.
So you've got a bunch of your kids who have moved on to become coaches afterwards.
Oh yeah, they coach with the program and they mentor, every year. We got kids that have been with us, put them in a leadership position, deal with those 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds. And then, we got a big brother, big sister thing going where all of them, they mix up as a family. And at the same time, we're building coaches that can relate to our team.
So what's your best memory as an athlete of racing? Was it in Kona? Was it a different race where you felt like this was pretty special? Kona
was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. In fact, where we starting at? I was still hanging out, playing around, having fun. The cannon went off.
You weren't ready.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I was still having fun. The cannon went off. Boom! Oh, okay. Now, man, I had to get it. Had to get on out there and get busy. That was so much fun.
What was it feeling like coming across that finish line?
Oh, after I got off that bike, that bike ride was rough because I had to climb to high V.
Oh yeah, it goes on forever.
And that wind was blowing. It was blowing us in the face, and then we got by the airport. coming across that trade wind, I saw them bikes on the side of the road. Looked like some riders that got taken. I was scared. And
Yeah.
I was tired. And Bob, I had almost died that year from that leptospirosis.
Oh, I forgot about that.
In Lake Springfield, yeah. So that was 10 weeks after I got out the hospital that I was at Ironman. Because a lot of people like, you still gonna go to Hawaii? I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna miss that trip.
Well, especially after what you went through, it meant even more. And the clock itself didn't matter at all at that point. You're just like, this is the experience of a lifetime.
Right. And I'm gonna say this now too while we're on this camera. You were the first person that really showed me love when I was there, because I knew some of the athletes. I read about them, I saw them, but they were supposed to do an interview on me. With, the
NBC show.
Yeah. But the lady that was running the thing, she's like overwhelmed. I guess she had too many people, and she's like, get with me later and all this and that. And I kind of felt like, oh man, well, forget all that. And then I came to your party for the challenge athlete.
Yep.
And I'm just sitting there, and you called me out. We got this guy here that does this and that. He loves kids, and I'm looking around.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
You do. What you have done for this sport, what you have done to get people who have never thought, couldn't spell the word, would never think they were going to become a triathlete. And look at somebody who started as a 9-year-old ends up being a doctor at the Ironman event. That's the drop the mic moment. A kid that you introduced to the sport of triathlon and said that she wanted to be a doctor, and Ryan became a doctor and was at the Ironman. That's like putting everything together. Now, were you at Kona that year?
Yeah, I had to be there. She told me she's gonna be a doctor there. I'm coming to Hawaii anyway because I'm volunteering at the warehouse, and I'm there. I gotta be there. So yeah, I showed it to Dave Scott. I introduced her to Dave Scott. We called Dave without, he's by himself one day. Called Dave, and I introduced him to Dave. And that was another good moment. Dave invited me to his camp. Out of the blue, I'm at the university at my desk, and get a phone call in there. And the lady from the Sonanap Hotel in Vail. Yeah. She said, Dave Scott wants you to come to his camp. Would you, ask me what I accept? I'm like, yeah. That's all I had to do is accept it. And I was like for a whole week.
Like the Pope calling.
Right. It was the Pope calling.
It's Dave Scott, and he wants you to come to a triathlon camp. Okay.
In Vail, Colorado. I had never been to Colorado. That was amazing. And I was the only, again. But it was so much fun. And all the people there, the people that came for the camp, they were so nice to me. And, we were a team. And when they introduced each other, Bob, I'm this and that. I'm Dr. That. I do this. I'm Dr. That. I do this. I had a video that shows what I am from NBC TV. I showed about the Trimasters Kids program. They had taped it, kids doing their training, did the interviews, and they did the race, and I'm the director. When they saw that film, that 3-minute film, I was the man up in the camp, Bob.
All that doctor stuff went out the window. Nobody cared anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about that stuff. So Bernard, you've been doing this sport for so long and bringing your kids. I always tell people that our athletes are just really nice, kind people. Have you dealt with any type of discrimination or any issues when you're at an event?
Not really, no. I can kind of feel what God didn't want me to pass him on the run a couple times. Don't say nothing. He got to beat me in. I'm here to make your day hard, though.
That is cool.
Cool. One girl, she was telling me about when I went to Lyles. Yeah. I was saying, boy, that's a long way down there to swim, because I saw the inner tube strung out down the lake. Yeah. She said, oh no, we have to go down there and come back. And I was like, oh boy. And then I heard this one guy say, well, black guys can't swim that far anyway. Why you? It's like he gonna tell her what to. Not to explain to me because I can't swim that far anyway. But I blew that off. I kind of expected a little something, but that was the only one, and it was at my first one. So after that, it was too much fun. Even if somebody came that way, I'm not listening to it.
No.
Right.
So moving forward, I think you and I and the rest of the sport need to make a concerted effort. You're already doing it. We need to jump in and get more people of color. First, I tell people all the time, this isn't an overnight thing. It's, look what you've been doing this for so long. We need to get people drown proof to start. It's got to start with the swim. The rest of the stuff is gravy.
Yep, exactly. So
Swim clinics.
We're locked down we have a facility I got locked down now because again, when our pools go down, Bob, especially in the high school, when the pool is down, it's down forever. They don't bring them back.
Right.
Park District is the same way. When the pool is broken in our community, it's broke. So we have limited access to pools. But I have one. I'm in the close suburb now, and they facility out there. They have everything I need to train the kids, and they love us out there. So I'm creating more programs out there.
Keep doing what you're doing, Bernard. I love everything you do. Bernard Lyles has been our guest. Hey, Bernard, if people want to help out, they want to help out TriMasters, they just go to your website?
Yeah, in fact, that's another thing that's happening. I'm building a brand new website, Bob.
Oh, good.
This COVID thing, I don't know what happened with the domain people. We had trimasters.org. Now we're tri-masters.net. That's our new website that I'm building in this time.
Right.
So this COVID it's a blessing where I can go ahead and build this site because we lost the other one. And at the same time, I'm building a personal website to put all my stuff up, Bob.
Good for you, Bernard. That's
Trimaster.net. So
Bernard Lyles, one of the real innovators in our sport. Thank you, Bernard, for taking time. Always a pleasure.
Always, Bob.
All right, thanks everybody for
a virtual TGI not running party.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. We might need to do a Thank God I'm Not Racing party. We might have to do it digitally, which means you might have to drink digitally as well.
Right.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been Breakfast with Bob. My guest, Bernard Lyles. Thanks everybody.